If Chrome keeps showing you a sad face and snap. Something went wrong while displaying this web page. This video is about that. And the useful thing almost nobody points at is the small gray line underneath it. That's an error code, and it isn't decoration. It's a diagnosis. Different codes mean genuinely different problems, which is why clear your cache and reinstall Chrome works for some people and does nothing at all for everyone else. So I'll show you what the common codes actually mean, and 3 tools built into Chrome that narrow this down in about a minute. You won't need to install anything. First, some reassurance. When you see this, one tab died. Not the browser, not Windows. Chrome runs pages in separate processes precisely so one bad page can't take everything with it. That's the system working, not failing. Which is why reload often just works. The tab comes straight back, and if that's the end of it, honestly, that was Chrome doing its job. It's when it keeps happening or happens on every page that it's worth diagnosing. So let's read the code. Status access violation. That means the tab tried to touch memory it wasn't allowed to. On Windows, the usual cause isn't the website at all, it's other software injecting itself into Chrome. Some antivirus products do it. So do screen recorders and overlays. Out of memory or error code 5. That one is literal. A tab ran out of room. Usually a single heavy page, not your whole computer, which is why the rest of the browser carries on fine. Status invalid image hash. Chrome refused to load a DLL that something tried to inject into it. Almost always security software, and Chrome blocking it is deliberate. 3 codes, 3 different causes, 3 different answers. That's the whole reason generic advice fails here. Tool 1, and if you take one thing from this video, make it this. Chrome has its own task manager. Shift and Escape, not Windows Task Manager Chrome's. And it breaks the browser down by tab and by extension, each with its own memory footprint, CPU and process ID. Look at these. One tab on 123,000 K, another on 62. That's the answer to which tab is eating my RAM. Read straight off the screen instead of guessed at. And you can select a single tab and end it without restarting anything else. If you've got 20 tabs and one is misbehaving, that's the surgical fix. Tool 2. Type Chrome://crashes. Chrome keeps its own list of what has crashed, and here's a catch worth knowing before you look, because it confuses people. If that page says you have no recent crashes, that very often means crash reporting is switched off, not that nothing crashed. The page says so in small print and everyone misses it. Tool 3 is the fastest test in the whole video. Open an incognito window, Ctrl+Shift+N and load the page that keeps dying. Incognito starts with your extensions turned off. So if the page behaves in there, an extension is involved, and you can turn them back on a few at a time until it breaks again. And if it still crashes incognito, that's just as useful. You've ruled out every extension you have in about 10 seconds. So, what to actually do? If it's memory, close the heavy tab you just identified, or restart the browser. If you're someone who keeps 40 tabs open, Chrome's memory saver in settings is worth turning on. It puts idle tabs to sleep. If it's an access violation on lots of pages, suspect software that hooks into Chrome. Update at first. These incompatibilities usually get fixed. And if you want to test whether it's the culprit, close it temporarily rather than uninstalling anything. What I'd avoid is the advice you'll see everywhere. Turn off your antivirus. That's not a fix, it's a trade, and a bad one. You'd be removing protection from everything you do to make one browser tab happier. If only one website ever does it, it's that website. Nothing on your machine will fix their page, and you don't need to try. Which code did you get? Drop it in the comments. I'd like to see which ones are actually hitting people, because the mix has shifted over the years and most of the advice out there hasn't. And if there's another thing your machine keeps doing to you, tell me. One thing worth checking before you blame the browser at all. Open Windows Task Manager, the normal one, Ctrl+Shift+Escape, and look at total memory. If your whole machine is sitting at 95% with Chrome only a slice of it, Chrome isn't the problem. It's the victim. Something else is eating the RAM, and Chrome's tabs are just the first thing to fall over. And the worst version of this, which almost nobody covers. Chrome crashes so fast you can't even reach the settings. Every window dies on startup. You can still fix that, because Chrome takes command line switches. Right-click the Chrome shortcut, choose Properties, and at the very end of the target box, after the closing quote, add a space and then -- disable -extensions. That starts Chrome with every extension off. If it lives, you've got your answer, and you can go and remove the offender. Just remember to take that switch back out afterwards. One more test if you're still stuck. Make a new Chrome profile and try there. A corrupted profile causes this more often than you'd expect, and a new one takes about 15 seconds. And that's also the point where reinstalling becomes reasonable rather than superstitious. If every page crashes, in a brand new profile, with extensions off, now it's the installation or the graphics driver, and now a reinstall is aimed at something. While you're there, one specific setting worth trying: Settings, System, and turn off hardware acceleration. That pushes rendering off the graphics driver, and if the crashes stop, you've learned it was the driver. Quick word on what you've been watching. That crash was real, and I caused it on purpose with Chrome://crash, an address built into Chrome that the developers used to test this exact path. It kills the current tab and nothing else, which meant I could show you a genuine crash page with a genuine error code rather than a mock-up. You can do it yourself. One warning: if you try typing Chrome://crash will autocomplete to Chrome://crashes, which is a different page entirely. Press delete before you press enter. And 3 things this isn't. It isn't a virus. It isn't your computer failing. One process died and the rest carried on, which is the design. And it isn't usually the website's fault, though occasionally it is, and now you know how to tell. So, read the code. Access violation points at software injecting into Chrome. Out of memory points at one heavy tab, and Shift-Escape names it. Then incognito to rule out extensions, and a fresh profile to rule out your settings. Reinstalling comes last, not first. If that turned a random sad face into something you can actually work through, subscribing genuinely helps me keep making these. Thanks for watching.